Hello, everybody. Welcome into the first edition of your Lobo Coaches Show for 2023-2024. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, with the head football coach of the University of New Mexico, Danny Gonzales. Coach D, first, what a wonderful new set we have. It's great to be with you. How are you?
Awesome. I mean, I wish we would have had a better outcome on Saturday night, but this is a great setup. I mean, we're continuing to make improvements in our athletic department. We need to see some improvements on the field. I thought we competed, but obviously we didn't make enough plays to have a chance to be competitive in that game. Started out okay, but we gave up too many plays in the secondary.
There were improvements on the field, and in particular, you talked recently about the first time you went there in 2021 and not really moving the ball offensively. You did that right out of the gate.
We had a 10-play drive, went 42 yards, got in their territory. We had a jet screen to Hicks that they sniffed out. We got beat on the perimeter, and it kind of stalled that drive. Ended up having to punt. And then we had a third down opportunity. We had a holding and a face mask penalty on the very first drive that enabled them to move the ball down the field. Early on, it was take care of the ball and don't give up big plays. We gave up a touchdown pass, but the holding penalty and the face mask penalty really hurt us.
Another thing, the Lobos had to deal with some serious noise, especially at the start of the game. You had to burn a couple of timeouts. It was pretty loud, wasn't it?
It was. The timeouts were more operational by us, the coaches. Our game plan going in was pound the ball, get the dirty three, keep moving the ball, but we wanted to use the majority of the clock and snap the ball down at under 4 seconds so that we could shorten the game with the new clock rules. Our best chance was to play limited plays and stay competitive. And early on, especially in the first drive in both halves, we had some formations where we were trying to move people and got the call in a little bit late. And I wanted to take timeouts to try and stay in the game early. In a second half situation, if the game was close, we would have taken the penalties. We've just got to be better than that.
Do you feel like you were able to limit as well how they could substitute? Because you never really huddled. You never snapped the ball early, but you made it difficult for them to huddle because they really didn't know exactly when you were going to go to the line of scrimmage.
We did. Now, when we would send somebody on, they did a good job. The referees did. And if you send a sub in under 15 seconds, you're pretty much giving up a penalty because the defense can take their time and they get 15 seconds. So if you sub under that time limit, you're kind of hosing yourself. So we were trying to be really careful about that and did a pretty good job for the most part. The operational stuff early on, I mean, obviously you don't want to burn 2 timeouts on the first drive. But our chance was to go down there, score, set the tone, and see what happens. We ended up having to punt, but I thought it was a great drive. I mean, we converted some third downs early on. We moved the ball right down the field, and I tell you what, on the third downs, it was loud. I mean, they were concerned early, and it was a great atmosphere.
I'll tell you what, too, those third downs, you guys with an experienced signal caller, Dylan Hopkins mentioned, that's when it's going to get really loud. He was prepared. I'm sure the guys were prepared. And, boy, the short throws that are going to be bread and butter type throws, they were on point, Coach.
Oh, they were on the point. They got in there quick. I mean, and the receivers did a great job because he can fire that thing. And the receivers did a great job using their body. They caught it with their hands, but they used their body to screen the defender. I mean, that's a really hard play as a defender if you can't reach the ball. And Dylan put it right where it couldn't be messed with.
It did become pretty apparent relatively early that they had some great speed and skill at the receiver position.
They did. We got beat on early on, I think we were a little bit nervous. I mean, you can't replace the 30 starts that Jarek Reed had without having to get a little bit of, it takes experience. And between Noah and Christian, I think that moment got a little bit big early. They settled down and played a little bit better later, but the game was already out of control at that point. I mean, you got to understand the situation. We can't squat our feet in certain coverages. Certain coverages you do need to because we're going to get more pressure. And we didn't do the fine details that it took to be successful.
Nobody's perfect. No game is perfect, but boy, what a game Dante Martin played. I mean, he is so good in coverage. Even against their best, he's ripping balls out in the end zone, and then he almost created a turnover for you.
He did. He created a fumble. We just didn't recover it. And it was really cool to have Glover Quinn on the sideline. Dante's 4 away from breaking the all-time record, which is pretty cool. Those 2 plays he made were big time, and that comes with experience. I mean, he's been in that situation, and there was no problem with him. He didn't panic, punched the 2 balls out. The one in cover 3, the first one, we were in cover 3. I thought he was going to have a chance to intercept it. He tried to get a little greedy on a comeback route and ended up making a great play, knocking the ball out. The one, we had a similar route later on. He came really close. I mean, they were fast. They weren't faster than us. If you watch the first touchdown, the second touchdown, Noah, he caught up to the guy. He just squatted his feet early. So we can improve the technique, we'll be fine.
Let's take our first time out. When we come back after the break, we break down first half highlights of the Lobos at Texas A&M. Welcome back on your Lobo Coaches Show with the head football coach at New Mexico, Danny Gonzales. I'm Robert Portnoy. It's time to get into first half highlights of the Lobos at Texas A&M. And a great atmosphere, Coach.
You know, that's one of the best atmospheres in all of college football. And we took the ball again, like we do. There's a nice catch by Jeremiah Hickson, and then we're going to convert the first down on this one. I mean, this was a great run by Bill. Ja'Cory Merritt, our guys call him Bill. I mean, he ran hard. I mean, he averaged 6 yards a carry.
He is unbelievable. I've said it a couple times, Coach. I haven't seen anybody with the kind of shake in the hole that he has since Terrion Gibson in a Lobo uniform.
No, I agree. I mean, there's DJ Washington doing his thing right there. He's a big receiver. We're moving the ball right down the field and had some early success. There's another 3rd down and 6. What a great throw to Jeremiah. I mean, Dylan put that right where it needed to be. I thought we were going to go down there and get a touchdown if we could have got this one now. I thought they were holding us a little bit, but we didn't get those calls on Saturday night, so we had to punt the ball away.
Yeah, you get a back shoulder opportunity with DJ Washington, you're going to take that, right?
We are. Now I wish Aaron would have punted the ball a little bit better. Nia Smith's a really good punt returner, and he'll get us later. We could have backed him up a little bit further, but we got to just take care of these little things. Right there's Noah's first holding film. Now they call it pass interference, which put the ball right there. And then the next one, he's going to break down instead of running through the defender, and we're going to get a face mask penalty. I mean, those are the little things right there. There's 27 yards in penalties that we just don't need. They're not necessary. And once again, that'll come with experience.
Quickly explain again the difference between breaking down and running through the offensive player.
We don't like to shuffle and direct. We like to go right through the ball carrier, just like Dante right there. Now I thought we played really hard, and I thought guys were running to the football. But when Dante gets this ball out right here, Noah's one. He got up and he started running around, but he's got to be attentive for that ball. We should have jumped on that, and all of a sudden we get off the field without a score. And then there's another one now. I sound like I'm making excuses, but that was quite the push-off. They just didn't call it. And maybe they let them play in that league. They didn't let us play that way, but they let it go on Saturday, so we'll see.
We saw it on Saturday in real time, Coach. No question a push-off to create separation.
And there's Dylan again. I mean, Dylan, that one was a 3rd and 18. We got behind the chains a couple times. We can't do that. I mean, that was a 6-play drive, and we punted. And then right here, this is the kind of things that we got to be able to avoid. Durkin should have used their guy and blocked him right into the returner, and then it's not a penalty. But their guy got out of the way, and Durkin got the halo interference penalty. What a great play by Dante Martin. We were in cover 3 right there. I thought he was going to intercept it. He kind of set the guy up, but it was a big-time play. This, I thought, was 2 really big plays. We did a nice job right here on 3rd and 1, and then 4th and 1, they got the benefit of a spot. I thought Tavian made a really nice play. It was close, but they gave it to him.
Boy, and Combs on both those plays, Coach. He filled the hole, and then,
He did. And then first play of the second half, or the second quarter, you know, right after a 4th down stop like that or a turnover or something, usually there's a shot play, and Noah stopped his feet for a second, and they ran right by him. Now, they sniffed out the reverse right here, but we got the face mask penalty, gave us an opportunity to move the ball down. And that was after a bad kickoff return. Christian made a bad mistake bringing the ball out of the end zone and brought it back to the 12-yard line. So now our offense is back in a hole. What a great drive by Dylan Hopkins.
Another terrific throw there to DJ Washington on the outside. And this is my favorite run of the day because of how hard Ja'Cory Merritt ran the football.
He's like the old school Roger Craig. Those legs get going, and he's hard to tackle. Really good job right there on the screen. Jeremiah, the screen and go. Jeremiah out in the flat. And then what a great catch by Connor Widoff and keeping control of the ball. I mean, that was a good lick by their Richardson, their safety. And Connor held on to it.
Yeah, he took a pop. And here it is, Coach. This is what we saw throughout camp. Ja'Cory is amazing.
He's good. That was a great cut in the hole. Andrew Erickson with an outstanding perimeter block. But, I mean, we're blocking those guys up front really good. Ja'Cory made a couple nice moves. Now it's 14-7. We're back in the ball game. I mean, we didn't get a stop early on, but we got back in the ball game. We had a chance here in a second. Here's another holding penalty. I mean, this is Noah, and this one was unnecessary because he was in the good shape. I thought this was the biggest play of the game. 3rd and 9. Tavian is about 2 steps too late before getting to the quarterback. What an unbelievable throw. Unbelievable catch on the sideline. If we make that play, we get off the field, we have momentum, it's going to be a completely different ball game because 2 plays later, this happened right here. And Jamarius is in good shape. 3 makes a good catch. Jamarius kind of watches his head. He'll look back at the last second. He's not supposed to. He's supposed to play through the hands once again. Experience. You need those reps. I promise you, Jamarius will never do that again in that situation.
And again, explain, play through the hands. That's up between the arms,
That's right.
ripping.
I mean, you're running, you're trailing, you got to punch it through. This is one that I talked about. Anita Smith is a great returner. They got a couple blocks early. We missed a couple tackles. Now they had a penalty right here. It was going to move them back to the 38-yard line. But that was after we went 21 down, 21-7. We went 3 and out on offense, and then the big punt return. And now there he is again. We're down to 4. Dante Martin's a good player. I think he's the best corner in this league. And he showed it Saturday. I mean, that's some of the best talent in the country, and he had no problem right there. Yeah. We fitted a couple blocks right there. They were able to pop a run down to the 12-yard line, and they're going to push this one in. Then that was a big body. That was a backbreaker to us because now we're down 28-7, and that's a pretty big mountain to climb for us there in Texas A&M.
Dylan had a couple of nice scrambles.
You know, our offensive line did a great job. He only got hit 6 times, 2 sacks, 4 hits, and they didn't have one really good lick on him. I mean, he was smart in the pocket. This is the only bad decision he made all day.
So he throws one up and it gets picked.
And then they put the ball in. We have a miscommunication. That was a nice run right there by Wigman. He's a really good quarterback. He's one of the better quarterbacks. And they got Will Rogers in that league. They've got, what's the young man's name from Auburn? They got a couple good quarterbacks in that league, and I think Wigman's right up there with with both of them. They beat us on the coverage right there. We had an assignment error in coverage in the end zone, which made it 35-7. And for all intent and purposes, I mean, the game was over. For us to have a chance to come back, we'd have to have unbelievable turnovers and all that stuff. So right now, here's where you have the tell of a real character of your football team. Are they going to lay down and give in, or are they going to fight? And I'll tell you what, our kids didn't give in. We came in at halftime, and it was, I mean, look at this. This is, if you watch the very last PAT field goal of the game, we knocked 6 of their guys down. I mean, we're still fighting. Obviously, the game's out of hand. What a great job right here. First block of any kind since 2019. We still haven't blocked a punt since like 2007, but that's on the list to get done. Tavian came hard. Now we go to the locker room and we're going to find out what kind of character our team is.
Dante Martin, we've mentioned him a couple of times, and you've mentioned it, Coach. 4 away from the all-time record for pass breakups in Lobo football history. Special player.
I think he's, like I said, I think he's the best corner in this league, and I think he proved it on Saturday. I mean, that experience, the game experience obviously makes a big difference, but we're going up against the best receivers in the country, and he didn't bat an eye.
How does that block kick happen? Is that something you guys saw? Because you got Tavian unblocked there between 2 A&M players, and he had a free run.
You know, we make a pretty big emphasis on our PAT field goal block. I thought the guys did a really good job up the middle. We had a couple get close off the edge. Tavian's a good player. He found a little seam and he got through and blocked it. I wish he would have blocked it going forward. We can recover it and go score. But he knocked it out of bounds, so we gave him a hard time about not catching it or knocking it forward. But, I mean, that was a really good change. I mean, I think 2019 is the last time we had a blocked PAT field goal around here. I think it was Najee Flowers. And 2007 was the last time we had a punt block. I think that was Stephen Persley. So it's been a long time.
Rest in peace, Najee. All right, when we come back, second half action, the Lobos at Texas A&M. Welcome back once again on your Lobo Coaches Show with the football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. I'm Robert Portnoy. Coach G, it's time to get into our highlights of the second half at Texas A&M. You
know, we came out, we got a 3-and-out on defense, got a sack on the 3rd down, made them punt the ball, and then we took the ball right down and kicked a field goal. I mean, we got off to a good start, and the best part was, you know, our kids were still ready to fight. I mean, they came out to compete. At this point in the game, I mean, it's 35-7. Let's see what we can do and see if we can find a way to get back into it. I thought our guys came out and competed hard. This was a really good drive by Dylan and the offense. Wish we could have put it in for 7. But this was we're going to come up with a 4-2. I told Bryant right here, Coach Vincent, I said, nah, we're going for it. Let's see what we can do. What a great catch by Jeremiah Hickson, a great throw by Dylan, and we converted.
Everything so far in this drive, the run by Sherrod White for a first down, it's just been a crisp drive from the beginning.
It was. I mean, we got down there in scoring position. We had an opportunity right here. I mean, once again, I thought that was questionable. But they called the late hit. We got to move down a little bit. I mean, I thought Dylan did a really nice job.
You thought Ryan Davis was held in the end zone?
I did. Sooner or later, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't stop. Another
and this
back
looked
throw,
like
and
another,
I thought they were, I mean, hey, if they're going to let both teams play, I got no problem with it. I wish they wouldn't call any penalties. But if they're going to call them on us, then they should call them on both teams.
Coach, there, he's got a fistful of jersey at the top of the zero in the middle of DJ's chest. If that's not pass interference, I'm not sure what is.
I'm with you. Now, DJ's got big, strong hands, and hopefully DJ can make that catch here as we go down further in the season. They got us on the corner out right there, and then Tavian had made a play. I mean, what a great play. They came right back to it. We tried to put them in a little bit different leverage. It was a great route and a great throw. They put it in the end zone, so the little momentum we got, they took right back. But once again, you're going to watch them. This is Luke here. No, this is Christian. Sorry. Christian fumbled that one and put our offense in a bad spot on the 6-yard line. And we put Luke back there in a little bit, and Luke had a couple of really nice returns. They're good up front. And to try and go 96 yards against those guys, it's really tough.
And make no mistake, they never took their foot off the gas. Even when the second stringers came in the fourth quarter, they were looking to put up as many points as possible.
No, if they could have scored 80, they would have. I thought we did a nice job on certain aspects of it. Deuce Jones was outstanding on punt coverage. After the one that Nia Smith returned for a pretty good distance, Deuce came over the sideline and told Coach Revitt, who's in charge of our punt team, hey, just put me out wide. They can't run with me. And he wasn't wrong. We didn't have any more problem with punt return. I mean, he did a great job. We're one block short. If we get that guy, we probably get a touchdown right there. Luke was trying to get outside. But they got really good athletes on special teams. I thought that was the biggest discrepancy of the two teams was on offense and defense. There wasn't a significant difference of talent. Now you're going to see a score and say 52-10 and say you're crazy. But on special teams, they were a little bit bigger, faster, and stronger than us with some of the guys that they were using. And we didn't want to put all of our starters out there for the entire game. I think special teams are extremely important. You got to have starters on them. But if you got depth, if you've got more depth, then you can play a little bit better and keep guys fresh.
One thing I do want to mention, Kyler Drake had a sack. He forced an intentional grounding. You told us he's gotten pretty twitchy. How did he play?
I thought he played really well. I mean, they had a hard time blocking him when they were trying to run the ball. He got some pressure on the quarterback, did a nice job in some of our four-man rush stuff. He played about 45 plays, which is about the right amount, and I thought he was really consistent throughout.
Dorian Lewis with some nice runs here late, and then how about this? That's a tough play on both ends, and Deuce comes down with it.
I thought that was the hardest that Dylan got hit all night, and Deuce did come down with it. I thought Caleb was going to come up with that ball. He got up higher, and both those guys, one of their guys knocked it out at the very last second, and then they got a little bit of pressure right there on DC. DC came in, and at this point, it was no point in getting Dylan hurt. But they were trying to score as many as they could. I didn't like this call. I mean, we stopped them. They said we had a hand on the hip, so it converted a first down. That was a third down attempt. And then they were able to get in field goal position, and their kicker did a nice job of putting it in. DJ Washington, we know he's got the size to go up in high point of football. I feel like Caleb Medford is going to make some of those plays because maybe not as tall, but the strength, the physicality, he's really good at that. He is really good, and he's got some great leaping ability. I mean, now he's all of 6'3", so he's definitely tall enough to create some mismatches. Here's another run by Dorian that you talked about. I thought Dorian and Sherrod did a really nice job, and they're finding themselves a role. I mean, they deserve more carries. Bill will hopefully, as we go further along in the season and we get into games, 20 to 25 carries for Ja'Cory, and then we'll see who those other 7 or 8 carries for. They're going to be earned in practice, and I think Sherrod and Dorian put their name in that hat to be able to take those. I mean, Christian's got to compete, see which one does it.
My partner on the radio, legendary running back for the Lobos, Dontrell Moore, said what he said down on the field to Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt before the game when he saw him run hard. Man, did he run hard.
He did. He ran really hard. We took him out with about midway through the third quarter because, I mean, Ja'Cory's going to do a lot of good things. And I said this on Monday. I mean, if we don't give up big plays, which we did in the secondary, it was going to be a really good football game. That was the difference in the game. Between our 2 Wolf safeties, we got beaten coverage a couple times. I thought Zach and Dante played really, really good on the outside. If we would have, there was 4 touchdowns in there that we got beaten man coverage, that if we make those plays, it's a heck of a football game. And we would have given more momentum to our offense. We didn't make those plays, and that was the outcome, the 52-10 final.
One more quick question before our final break. The offensive line, how about their performance?
I thought they did an outstanding job. Like I said, Dylan only got touched 6 times. I thought we did a decent job in the run game. I mean, that's a really good front. Texas A&M is going to cause people a lot of problems. I mean, they play Miami this week. They've got Auburn and Alabama on the SEC schedule. That'll be a challenge. But They're in the talk for a CFP for a reason. They're a really talented football team.
Okay, we come back on the other side and wrap up your first Lobo Coaches Show for 2023. We're back to close out your Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. I'm Robert Portnoy. Big thanks to Frank Mercogliano and Chase Christensen for all their work behind the scenes today. Coach, final takeaways from the Lobos at Texas A&M.
I thought we went and competed. Obviously, they were the better football team, especially with some of the plays that they made that made the score lopsided. But I think we took a lot of good out of it. The guys competed their tails off till the very end, and they're excited to have an opportunity to play again this Saturday at home.
So the Lobos come home. It's the home opener for 2023. Tennessee Tech comes to town. It's the first time the Lobos have ever faced them.
It is, and they played Thursday night, so they've had a couple days rest. A couple former coaches from here on that staff, so they'll have a good idea of our personnel for the ones that were here when they were here. But it's a great opportunity to go out there and have a home football game.
You know, normally the FCS opponent comes in week 1 and then maybe the bye game comes. They're flipped this year. How does that change your preparation, if it has?
It hasn't. We've got, I mean, if you segment it into quarters, we've got 4 games before we play Wyoming. We got rid of the first one. We'll play Tennessee Tech, the other school, and then UMass, and we'll see what happens.
This one is to get ready. You want to win, of course, and then get ready for New Mexico State.
Oh, it's a big one. I mean, this game for us, I mean, we've lost 10 in a row, so this is a big one for us to get that off our back and play well and then get ready for the next one.
Coach, this has been fun. I love our new setup. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This is awesome. I mean, everything we're doing gets better and better.
For Lobo head football coach Danny Gonzales, I'm your host, Robert Portnoy. That's it for us for today. Until next time, so long, everybody, and go Lobos.